Hi everybody, this is Jim Cornette. I'm here to invite you to a spectacular night of professional wrestling in Spartanburg, South Carolina on Saturday night, February 27th. The Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium, the home of wrestling in Spartanburg, when big time wrestling is coming back. You know, I was there last year and a couple of thousand people jammed the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium to give me a hero's welcome, coming back to the scene of some of my greatest triumphs, and I expect that this year will be no different, especially since there's a whole new roster of superstars and matches going on. You're gonna see Matt and Jeff the Hardy Boys, Big Poppa Pump, Scott Steiner, Lex Luger, the Total Package, and a whole bunch of other of your favorite professional wrestling stars, and of course, myself, because I'm gonna be there. And Ricky and Robert, Rock and Roll Express, last year you slipped one over on me, boys. And you've done that in the past, and I'm not too happy about it, so this time I'm bringing in the heavy artillery, the heavy hitters. The Warlord and the Barbarian, the Powers of Pain, are going to be taking on the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm going to be right there in the Powers of Pain corner. And I'll tell you something, these guys, they're about 6.5 feet tall, they weigh about 350 pounds apiece, and Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, they can take you and they can pick their teeth with you just like a couple of skinny little toothpicks and then discard you in the gutter next to the Memorial Auditorium right there on Church Street. So that's going to be a great match. It's going to be inside a steel cage. That means, Ricky and Robert, you can't run away. You can't get away from the Powers of Pain. They're going to eat you alive. And you know, the only thing that I can't understand is why that Big Time Wrestling has gone to the trouble of setting this match up, and then instead of, once that the cage door is locked and the Rock and Roll Express, the Powers of Pain are inside that steel cage, instead of giving me the key, an honest, upstanding citizen who would take care of it and protect it and make sure that nobody interferes in that match, they're giving the key to another old friend of mine, Road Warrior Animal. Animal, I have no idea. I have no idea why you are in this position, but I promise you this. I don't care what the promoters of Big Time Wrestling have told you. I've been working out. I've been training. Matter of fact, my arms are probably now, look at that. Where'd it go? There it is. My arms are probably now bigger than yours are. So Animal, if you try to interfere in that match, I'm afraid we may have to get physical. And then there's one more event that I'm looking forward to, because another old friend of mine is going to be there. It's like Old Home Week in Spartanburg on Saturday night, February 27th, because Baby Doll is going to be there. And we are going to have a little battle of the sexes. Because you see, it was 30 years ago, right there in the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium, when Baby Doll stuck her nose in the business of me and the Midnight Express. She was trying to ride the coattails of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Magnum TA, trying to be a superstar. And she got on the wrong end of the bus, and another friend of mine named Wilson. You got on the business end of this thing, Baby Doll, and they were all upset about it, and we had death threats, and we had riots. But I showed you who was boss then, and I'm going to show you who's boss in Spartanburg. Now, this doesn't have to get physical. It doesn't have to get violent, because, Baby Doll, a battle of the sexes could be anything, because there's nothing that a woman can do that a man can't do better. Now, I know you ought to be rattling the pots and pans around in the kitchen. I know you ought to be barefoot and well, no, you shouldn't be pregnant. Oh, my God, please don't let her breed. But, Baby Doll, I don't care whether I have to fight you, run you a foot race. I don't care whether we have to have a spelling bee, but I'm going to show you that there's nothing that you can do that a man can't do better, because women are called the weaker sex for a reason. So, Baby Doll, what I want you to do, I'm going to bring Wilson, but I just hope I don't have to use him. But what I want you to do is I want you to get down on your knees in front of me. No, get your minds out of the gutter. I want you to get down on your knees in front of me, and I want you to look up at me with those big eyes, and I want you to say, Jim Cornette, I'm sorry for all the things that I said to you and about you 30 years ago, and for sticking my nose in your business. And I want you to beg and plead forgiveness from me, and I want you to tell me that a woman is the weaker sex, a woman is the lesser sex, and a woman should never, ever be involved in a man's business like professional wrestling. And I want you to look up at me finally and say, Jim Cornette, you always have been and always will be a better person, a better man than I am. Baby Doll, that's going to be the battle of the sexes. If you don't do that, there may be some trouble. And I would hate to anger and enrage all of those fans in Spartanburg at the Memorial Auditorium for Big Time Wrestling on Saturday night, February 27th. But if I have to, I have to, because after all, I have to hold up for the male species, because it's time that you were put in your place. It's time that all these women around here, all these feminists like Hillary Clinton, it's time that they realize that they can never be as great as a man, and you, baby doll, can never be as great as Jim Cornette. I will see you in Spartanburg, baby doll, and I'll have my knee pads on, and I'll have my elbow pads on, and I'll have Wilson with me, and I'll be ready for whatever comes. So take your best shot, doll baby, because you couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor.